I'm Murray Carter. Welcome to Carter Cutlery's High Performance Tips. We're at Douglas Ridge Rifle Club in Estacada, Oregon with world champion rifle shooter Stan Pate. How you doing, Stan?
Great, Murray.
Thanks for having us here today.
Thanks for having me on.
Stan, we have a rifle collection here that any gun collector would be envious of, but they all kind of have one theme in common. I noticed most of these rifles were built for precision.
That's very true, Murray.
What people would refer to as a long-range rifle. We got a couple of handguns here. When we say long range, what do we really mean by long range?
Well, Murray, long range is different for everyone. To your average hunter, say here in the Pacific Northwest, long range might be anything in excess of 100 yards. To somebody that's a target shooter, long range might be 600 yards. To those that want to go a little further, you can shoot back to 1,200 yards.
Well,
the extreme shooters will go past a mile.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and we've got a little bit of everything here for that, and we just brought out a little hodgepodge of what's available out there.
Yeah, I understand this is only a dent in your gun collection.
I have a pretty good gun collection.
Okay. Well, we're not giving out any addresses on this video. Well, let's look at some of this equipment here, and we'll talk about maybe the rifles and the rifle actions first.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Start off. This is one of yours.
Yeah, this is my rifle here. This is one 300 Winchester Short Magnum. It's a Savage Model 12, and I found it to be the most accurate rifle and consistently shooting rifle that I own.
Well, and it's a really good choice too. The way the rifle's set up, and there's some traits here that really show what you're looking for in a long-range rifle. This would be a rifle that you would use for, say, to mid-range especially, but you can use it back to long-range due to its caliber and everything. This is specially equipped, and you've done a nice job on this. You've got a Night 4 scope, which is, that's what we use at the World Championships. They're very good scopes. You can get everything out of them that you can get out of anybody else. This one's suppressed, which is a nice feature, but you got to go through the extra paperwork to get it. It's really a lot nicer for the people around the range and the people you're shooting with. The 300 short mag is going to give you plenty of velocity to exceed 1,000 yards in a tactical type rifle. This is a good choice if you're wanting to shoot something, especially if it's something you want to hunt with and target shoot with, if you're the person that can only own a few rifles.
Well, that's why we go to the gym and bodybuild, so we can take this thing to the woods. I'm guessing it's probably about 13, 14 pounds the way it's set up today.
Yeah, but you don't have to sneak up within 50 feet to get them either. Looked like a dead center X.
Let's look at some of these other rifles. What about on the heavier end of rifles? How about this rifle here you got?
This is a Savage. This is a Palmer rifle with an FTR barrel.
And this is a way so the viewers can see it.
Sure. This is a specific built target rifle. It's a single shot, it's Model 12, single shot rifle with an Accu trigger.
Now, what do you mean by single shot? What's that mean for the viewers?
There is no magazine. You load one round at a time, you eject one round at a time, and then you have to reload it to shoot again. It's got a specific target scope on it, and this target's set up with the fine duplex crosshair. This is a Leupold. This is one of their fixed 35 powers that they anodized for me. It's a beautiful scope.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And it's got a level on it for keeping your rifle level between shots. There's a little known fact that 1 degree of cant at 1,000 yards moves the impact of your bullet 6 inches.
So 1 degree from where you're shooting moves the bullet 6 inches at 1,000 yards. Well, that means the difference between getting it in the X or getting it in the 9 ring.
Right, because your X is only 5 inches.
Yes.
Just that alone. But it's set up, it's got nice heavy rings on it. The 30-inch heavy barrel on it, so as the barrel heats up, it doesn't have a tendency to wander around the target as it stresses. It's set up with a bipod. This bipod is set up for target shooting. It's not a 100 bipod.
This is a custom-made bipod, I understand.
By Center Shot. It's a local company here. John Wheel and Joe Huddleston own the company. It's a nice bipod, beautiful. Changed the game for it for target shooting. But you'll notice it's got an adjustable cheek piece, adjustable butt pad, so you can make the rifle really fit you. And we'll go into positions, I'm sure, later.
Yes.
And that'll all become more important.
This looks fancy, and it looks like something you might not need but for absolute consistency and repeatability, to really fine-tune your shooting at the long distances, this is really critical, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Everything matters at 1,000 yards, everything. You don't leave anything out of the equation. Anything you can do to put the odds in your favor, you're better off.
Now, I wanted to go back to that the idea that it's a single shot, because what I understand, Stan, is that because there's no magazine coming up from below, they're able to take that empty space and make it into a solid steel. So they're not cutting that out of the receiver, and that, I understand, gives it extra rigidity.
Absolutely correct, Marie. Absolutely. Yeah. There's what you're doing is now you have a tube that you've taken the bare minimum out of. That
just this little ejection port right here.
That's it.
Solid on the other side.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. And you add a trigger to it and a bolt to it.
So because it's a single shot, some people think it's a sissy gun, but because it's so rigid and so accurate, no one thinks it's a sissy gun when you're putting tiny little groups at 1,000 yards.
They can think I have a sissy rifle all they want. Doesn't matter. But no, what happens is with this tube, you develop a much stiffer receiver, which allows the better harmonics in your barrel, but it also, with that stiffer receiver, you get less flex during the firing action of the rifle, so it's more consistent.
From shot to shot.
From shot to shot.
Now, this is a feature here that's doesn't usually draw a lot of attention, but I notice that a lot of our rifles, this rifle, my rifle, and some of the others, have a very special scope base and scope rings that are custom made.
Yeah, and these bases right here, one happens to be by Farrell. There's several manufacturers.
It's Ken Farrell in Missouri.
And they're awesome bases. We usually get them in 20 to 30 minutes of bases, and we'll explain minutes probably a little later in one of these shooting tips. But suffice it to say that they're tilted forward. And so what you're doing is you're allowing part of the come-ups on your rifle to be taken care of in your scope base, so you're not having to make those adjustments in your scope.
Now, some scopes like the Night Force have an amazing range of come-ups.
Oh, yes.
But some other brands of scopes just have the average amount. And if you're dead on at 100 or 200 yards, when you want to go out and shoot at 1,000 yards, you might not have enough come-ups in your scope base.
Correct.
I mean, in your scope turret. So you want to adjust that by having a scope base with a 20 or 10 MOA. And
what I have here, there's plenty of adjustment in the scope. But what I have is I have a 30-minute base with shims underneath the back of it, so I can just get a 300-yard zero. Gives me more adjustment in my scope, but it also puts the erector set in the scope right towards the middle of the scope at my longest range and gives me the best parallax.
I see.
So there's tricks for it. But you can order the bases to a wide variety of manufacturers, and there's some really good ones out there. I like the Farrells, and there's some local made ones here through Leopold and all that I really like as well. I can't recommend the spirit level enough on that. There's also some other things if you're doing long range tactical that we can go into in a while if you like.
Well, that's something I need to get a hold of. Now, I noticed that we wouldn't be able to see through your scope right now because you've got covers on either side of your scope. Obviously need to be removed before you use it. Tell me, and I notice a lot of the scopes have covers on them. How important is it to have proper fitting scope covers on your scopes?
It's absolutely important. These scope covers, like you said, you can take them on or off if you want to shoot, but you want to keep them clean. Your optics are what you're gonna win or lose on. If they get dirty, you need to clean them. If the covers get dirty, you need to clean them because whatever you put on here is going to infect your glass. Your glass.
I just breathed in it. Is that okay?
Well, yeah, that's fine.
I had a breath mint earlier. I don't think I'm going to offend the rear glass here.
I think you're going to be good.
Okay.
On target rifles, typically what we'll run 2.5 to 4 inches of shade tube on the end as well. And there's some other things I don't have an example here, but a lot of times we'll run a mirage tube or mirage shield over the top of the barrel to keep the mirage from coming up through the scope. But that's a dedicated target rifle that is built for one purpose, and that is target shooting. And we have a couple of others here that are like that as well.
Now, Stan, this rifle looks to be considerably different than the target rifle we were looking at earlier. Target rifle, nice and colorful, pretty, shiny stainless steel, and this is just a big monstrosity. Tell me a bit about this one.
Well, this is a 110 BA. This is a Savage rifle as well. Most of these are. This is a 338 Lapua mag.
Oh, I've heard of a 338 Lapua mag. That's a really powerful round.
Yeah, in the Middle East right now, it holds some of the longest range hits records. They're shooting this in excess of a mile. So this would be what you would classify. It's a purpose-built rifle in that it's a tactical or sniper-built rifle. They're using these in excess of a mile. It's very accurate, a very big round. It's the go-between, say, between your 300
yes.
and the 50 BMG round for rifle.
What have they done to this stock to ensure the accuracy? It's different. It's non-conventional.
It is non-conventional. It's Magpul butt plate or butt stock on it, but they've machined. The stock is made out of aluminum. It's machined with AccuStock technology, which it could be a...
So this is all aluminum here.
All aluminum. The 4 stock bolts onto the receiver area. And then they, of course, this Picatinny rail comes factory on it. And it's used to bolt on like infrared enhancers or range finders, just a whole host of things. It comes with a much larger, much more aggressive muzzle brake that you need with that big cartridge.
That's going to reduce the backwards recoil.
Yeah,
that the felt recoil that the shooter gets.
Right, and also, as you notice, it's solid on the bottom, which if you're going to get into tactical competition, you want to look for something like that in your muzzle brake anyway, if there's any kind of shooting where people are observing, because it won't print you.
And when you say it won't print you, you mean it's not going to kick up a big dust cloud.
Correct.
Because the muzzle blast isn't hitting down low.
That is correct.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. But you also notice the weight of the barrel, while it's not the heavy barrel of the dedicated target rifle, is still pretty heavy. And this one's got fluting in it. Fluting increases the surface area and allows your barrel to cool more quickly. And then on this one, you can, you notice you can stick your finger all the way around it.
That's the perfectly free floated barrel there.
Right. It gives air all the way around it, so it heats up and cools evenly.
Evenly, yes.
Yeah, so it won't move.
And I'm guessing because the stock is made of aluminum, it doesn't matter if it gets wet. Doesn't really matter if you're on a hot day, cold day. It's not going to shrink or contract or swell like some wood stocks will.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Perfect explanation of it. It's with the bat rifle, which we'll maybe look at in a moment. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's -20 or 105. It shoots the same.
Shoots the same.
If it's wet or cold, snow, dry, it doesn't matter.
So some traditional, wooden stocked rifles, they can be a little bit finicky with a change in climate. No.
Well, just a moisture change in the atmosphere.
With the moisture change, yeah. Mm-hmm. So you can have a wood stock like mine that's laminated. That'll minimize that. But wood is still wood.
Wood is still wood.
And metal has got one up on that. But I think there's a price you pay for having a metal stock.
You're right, and that's called weight.
See here, magazine check, chamber check. Okay, we're safe on that. But yeah, that's it. This isn't a light rifle, but I understand this one, where this is in .338 Lapua. Mm-hmm. This is in .308 Winchester.
Correct.
So that's a intermediate capacity round. It's a high powered round, more powerful than a .223, but typically what is it, an 800 yard? Typically an 800 yard cartridge.
308s, we shoot them back to 1,200 yards.
Oh, I know you do.
Those are dedicated target rifles, typically.
Yeah.
But you're right. For most people, this would be an intermediate range rifle, where you would shoot it, say, in tactical competition back to 800 meters. You can shoot it out to 1,000 with your proper hand loads. Usually the factory ammo won't get you there, though. So it's something you do have to.
That is a heavy rifle. And something else I'm noticing about it too is it doesn't have that nice warm feel that a wooden stock has. So you're trading that away. It's kind of more like a tool than it is a
very much
rifle.
You're exactly correct. This is a purpose-built firearm. It is designed for the law enforcement shooter, the tactical shooter. This is not a warm fuzzy firearm. It's not meant for to brag about around deer camp. It has been out there to save people's lives, to use in a competition and get the job done. And it will do that same thing. It doesn't matter wet or dry, hot or cold, it just shoots. The rifle shoots sub-half minute angle, and it does it in anything.
Well, then we might say that beauty is as beauty does. So to the wielder of this rifle, who's making effective shots at longer than normal distances, I'm sure that it's going to have a real beauty in their eyes.
Well, even the short range, since it's already machined with the AccuStock that we talked about, or that kind of technology, you can depend on it even at the typical law enforcement range of under 100 yards. It's going to stack the bullets right on top of each other.
Well, you can't beat that.
But as you've noted earlier, it's got a quality scope. This happens to be a Night Force. It's a 10-round box magazine, where if you're going to compete, the 10-round box magazine is something you need in competition.
Well, that comes in handy. And the nice thing is that magazine is easy to remove, and you can put in a new loaded one. You don't got to you know,
exactly.
loaded up. I noticed the first time I competed in the Oregon Sniper Challenge in 2010.
That was fun.
Yeah, I had just a typical Remington 700 that had an internal magazine capacity of 4, with one in the chamber. That's 5, but many of the shoots that we were doing required 10 shots. So I was good for the first 5, and then I was frantically loading them one at a time after that, and the guys with the magazine bolts or with the gas guns were shooting faster than me. Speaking of gas guns, let's look. We've got 2 gas guns examples on the table. Maybe we'll look at the one with the fancy scope on it first.
Well, this is a rifle made by Anderson, the 20-inch H-bar.
Magazine check, chamber check. Here we go.
And
safety's on.
20-inch H-bar. It's got a PRS stock by Magpul, floated barrel. These are all things you want to look for on a precision gas gun or any tactical rifle. The barrel has to be floated. You want an adjustable buttstock. You want a nice, good grip. This is it has to be Magpul. There's many companies that make good grips that you can bolt right on. You've got a nice quality scope. This one's a Leupold. Awesome scope with the Leupold base. What really sets this rifle up for specifically for target shooting is a 20-inch barrel, and it's a heavier barrel. It's got a gas block that's hidden, so you can mount your sights up on the top if you want. Just a nice rifle. This one happens to have a Timney trigger. You can see how it's been adjusted to fit my body, and you would adjust all that to fit yours.
Yes. Well, we see again here a common trait here. We've got the adjustable length of pull and the adjustable comb. You've got the adjustable comb on almost all of these rifles.
Yes.
On the bat rifle, on the hog rifle, we've got the same adjustability, length of pull, and height of comb. And so, you know, fitting that gun to you as you're shooting it. I mean, you might get really lucky, and some off-the-shelf rifle might shoot really good for you, but generally speaking, we want that adjustability.
And you're exactly right. It's pretty uncommon for a rifle to actually fit you. If you look just at our facial structures, our cheekbones, how they relate to the rest of our face, whether higher, lower, a little wider, there is no catch-all fit.
Now let's look at that other AR, because it's a little bit different. It's got a different concept there with the optics.
Well, and this is interesting. This is the way this is set up. Again, adjustable butt stock, so you can adjust it for length of pull.
Yes.
You don't have the adjustable butt pad, but one of the things that you have with an AR is the height. This is a flat top AR, just like the previous one. You have this height where you can adjust your optics to fit your cheek piece. You can put a 1/2-inch adapter in there, or a 1/4-inch adapter if you need. So you're accomplishing the exact same.
Yeah, this rifle happens to be mine, and I assembled it. And you know, I went with the EOTech with its low there on the receiver because I was planning on using the adjustable stock.
Well, you've got options with this one that you don't have with, we'll say, the other one over there. And that with this EOTech, you can shoot this out to long range with concentration, or you can use it in close during like practical rifle competition or 3-gun or anything like that, because you can shoot this with both eyes open. And you can't shoot the other one necessarily with both eyes open because the focus is so much different. But you got a lot of common traits here. You notice the pistol grip?
Yep.
Yep, exactly. The floated barrel,
yes.
Heavier barrel. You got a nice flash suppressor on here. You've got all the traits to make an accurate rifle. And I bet this is quite accurate.
All I need on this is more time.
We can all use more trigger time.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, but there's a lot of, what you've done is you've given yourself some advantages that you don't have with that rifle. That is,
which is close quarter.
Right. That is more set up for long range.
Two eye open, both eyes open shooting with that one. Well, let's talk about your favorite rifle on this whole table. I understand it's this McMillan stock Savage here.
Yep.
What makes this so special?
This rifle is beyond belief accurate. I mean, they're accurate anyway, but every now and then you get that special rifle.
You find that special one.
Yeah,
huh?
all the angels are singing, the birds were chirping, the choir was singing in heaven. It was just built on that special
This was
day.
the one you pulled out of the anvil, huh? The
Yes.
Excalibur.
Yeah, and this rifle, this particular one with my reloads, will shoot under 1/4 minute angle.
1/4. That's about the size of the tip of my pinky finger here.
I'll stack 5 rounds and basically enlarge the hole at 100 yards with this rifle with my reloads.
Wow.
But it does that all the time.
Yeah. That's just about as good as my rifle.
Yeah. But again, you'll notice, and this was set up more like rifles we had in the Marine Corps and everything. You got the rattle can out and started painting and everything. But it's got a Karsten cheek piece on it.
Again, there's the adjustability. Yeah.
Same as all of them. You see Carson's on a few of these.
Yes.
And we love those. And the 308, 1 in 10 twist barrel. It's got a regular length 22-inch barrel. For most people, this would be exactly what you would need for intermediate range shooting.
If you could only have one rifle to do everything from hunting to shooting in some competitions to even, you know, possibly a self-defense scenario, this would be the one you'd probably grab.
This would be a walk out the door gun right here.
Not overly heavy. You got the nice compromise between a 20-inch barrel and a 24-inch barrel, so you're not really compromising much in terms of velocity and downrange performance. Yet the barrel's short enough to be stiff enough for that shot-to-shot repeatability and consistency.
Correct, and it is a little heavier barrel. You've noticed, just like in this 338 Lapua or the 308 or any of the target rifles, you want that extra weight in your barrel. As it heats up, you don't want it to move around as it heats up.
Yeah, I understand that when a shot is fired, the barrel under high-speed photography actually does a whiplash.
That's correct.
And the thinner the barrel is, the more pronounced that is.
Right.
The stiffer the barrel, the more metal, the more solid and less prone it is to moving under the recoil.
Right, and then also a thinner barrel, as it heats up, it may start, depends how it's stressed or not stressed, it may start moving around some.
Get a little warp maybe.
Yeah. And I can shoot this out to 1,000 yards. It just takes my hand loads to do it.
Yeah.
But the same thing, what you were talking about, it's got a removable magazine.
Detachable magazine, that's a nice feature. And you can probably get a 10-round magazine for that if you want it. Yeah.
You can.
When you say it's a quality stock, you use the word McMillan, and I recognize that as being a top name in the industry for high-quality rifle stocks.
It is. It's a very old name, as far as, not very old, but relatively in our lifetimes anyway, old. McMillan was one of the gentlemen that developed the M40 sniper rifle in the Marine Corps, and he started at this company. It's now owned by his son, Kelly McMillan, who owns this company and still makes these quality stocks based upon what his dad developed in the Marine Corps. So you'll see the stock still used in militaries actually around the world now.
Now we have another rifle that we consider a hunting rifle, but it's abnormally accurate for a hunting rifle, right? Let's go take a look at that one.
Sure.
So this rifle here.
It's a Savage Model 11
Magazine
with
check,
a Leupold
chamber check.
Extreme Barometer scope on top of it. It's
Yeah.
a 308. This is billed as a 26-inch barrel. You actually have 24 inches of usable barrel and 2 inches of muzzle brake.
Okay, there's a muzzle brake there, yeah.
It is a lighter barrel. Now, this one, I happen to know, will shoot a 5-shot string without overheating the barrel.
There's another one of those lucky ones.
Right.
Yeah.
But typically, a hunting rifle will be like a 3-shot rifle. It comes with, again, adjustable cheek piece. This, again, is a Karsten, but this comes as a factory offering. You've got a nice quality trigger. This is the Accu trigger. You've got a bipod like you're seeing on a lot of these here, and the ones that don't have them do have them when you shoot them in competition.
Now the stock doesn't look very fancy, but I understand this stock does have some interesting features.
It does. This is an Accu stock.
An Accu stock.
Right, and it's built where it's built in such a manner where it holds a receiver similar to glass bedding, in that when it's bolted in, it holds from front to rear, side to side, and up and down.
You've got the bipod on there and a really fancy Leupold scope.
Yeah, it's extreme barometer.
Adds some nice color to this otherwise all black rifle. Yeah, but it's even with the scope on there and the bipod, that's not too heavy. I'm guessing that's probably still under 10 pounds.
Yeah, it's a hunting rifle.
Yeah, it's a hunting rifle. Yeah, very nice. Now the last thing we're going to talk about is, some people might not want to hunt or shoot rifles. They might want to shoot handguns.
Correct.
What options do they have, Stan?
Well, and then again, it gets back into the question that we've had, what is long range? Because long range could be different for everyone. This is a Model 516. This is a 300 short mag pistol with 11-inch barrel.
So you're telling me that this handgun shoots the same caliber as my heavy competition rifle?
That's correct. And it's got noticeably more recoil, and you bear it all in your hand.
Magazine check, chamber check.
With this barrel, with these hand loads, I could shoot just under an inch group at 100 yards. But there are people using these handguns out past 600 yards for hunting, for target shooting. I think it's a bit rough for target shooting. It'll really sting your hand after about 20 rounds.
Yeah, I think you start to get a little bit gun shy after.
Oh, yeah.
So with a handgun like this, which is essentially a shortened rifle action, shortened barrel, are you holding it in like a typical combat stance, or do you use something with that foregrip?
You hold it two-handed, of course.
Yeah,
two-handed. It's not a one-handed pistol at all. The scope is set up for the eye relief. It would be set
So
up
this
at
kind
arm
of
length.
distance.
Right.
You would, of course, if you're shooting, you know, over 100 yards or whatever, you would probably, if you had a rest of some kind, you'd want to use it.
You always use a rest.
Always use a rest. Yep. Yep. Now we've got another handgun there, which could be considered long range. It's certainly got the power to take some big ammo. This is my handgun here. It's a Freedom Arms, which is made in Wyoming, and this is chambered in 475 line bow. There you go. I'm just making sure it's safe. Yeah. And
for hunting, it'd be fine. And actually, something like this you would see in handgun silhouette. And I would assume you could shoot it out 200-300 yards.
yeah, I've shot this at 200 yards once at steel plates, and we had some pretty good luck with it with good hand loads.
Yeah, and that's one of the keys to any of these. You can get so much out of your rifle with factory loads, but hand loading is something that's going to add to the experience for you. If you don't currently hand load, you need to go to somebody that does know how to hand load and learn.
Sure.
Because you can get yourself in trouble if you're not paying attention.
There's a big element of danger with hand loading. If you're a carefree person or a careless person, and you're not properly educated in how to hand load, then it can be some dire circumstances there, consequences. I think that our viewers now have seen, you know, the common traits in rifles and handguns that are built specifically for accuracy, for precision.
Right, they don't change much.
Yeah, so we're going to go to the range now, and we're going to learn how to get the maximum benefit from shooting these under the expert tutelage of Stampede. And that's a Carter Cutlery high performance tip.